All right. Hello, LinkedIn and YouTube. I am super, super excited to have a very special guest with me today. We're going to talk to Mike Wimmer, a child prodigy in robotics. I actually came across his content on LinkedIn probably 4 or 5 months ago. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this kid would be great on my show. And the more I learned about him, the more intrigued I became and really just did some research, ended up contacting Mike on LinkedIn, and with the help of his parents, we've set up this LinkedIn Live. I'm really excited for you to meet him. Before I bring him on, I do have a question for you all. This is a question from Mike because he's in his last year of high school at the age of 12. Yes, he just turned 12 last month. He's thinking about which colleges to go to if he ends up going to a college at the moment. So let us know in the comments, which college did you go to if you went to university. All right. Mike Wimmer, welcome to the show.
Well, hey, Kate, really thank you for the introduction. That was really great.
I'm super, super excited to talk to you. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I've never had a kid on the show, so this is very new for me. I never had a genius on my show either. So yes, I'm going to call you a genius because I've been looking into the kind of stuff that you're working on, and I'm truly amazed by it all. So let's begin with, just tell people, who are you? Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, I'm Mike Wimmer. I am a now 12-year-old high school senior at Concord Academy in North Carolina. And I'm just a big, huge robotics fan. I love robotics and technology and IoT and artificial intelligence. Those are just some of my many fields that I love. And that's really me in a nutshell. I also, not only do I do these adult things, but I'm also a kid. I love Corvette sports cars and Mensa sports car racing. And those are just a few things about me.
All right. Well, I think what's on everybody's mind right now is you just turned 12 and you're in your last year of high school. So how did that happen?
Well, really, how it all got started was, I guess you could say technology-wise, how it got started was me with my original iPad. I always had an affinity toward technology and computers, wondering what it did and how it worked. And on my iPad when I was 18 months old, where I would learn with a stylus pen how to form the letters of the alphabet, all the way to things like geography. And from there, I learned how to use the iPad and how to get used to these advanced interfaces. And then I started to wonder what was behind this icon and cursor that I always messed around with. So then I began to teach myself computer coding. And I learned that it was something that was utterly limitless in what I could teach it to do. And I could build a game, I could make a robot, I could do whatever I wanted to. And that was something that I was really, really drawn toward. And educationally wise, I guess you could say I originally started and then I moved up and I did the coursework for the 5th grade, and then I moved through high school. Mm-hmm. And now I am completing high school, doing all the coursework for that at 12.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, what I was doing at 12 is it was my 3rd year in school ever, because I grew up in a different country and didn't go to school there. So yeah, it was my 3rd year in school ever. So yeah, I was definitely not doing what you're doing at this age, for sure. We've got a lot of people here that have joined, and they're just saying hello. Greg is excited for the show. He says that I get the best guests ever, and I agree. You are the best guest ever. He's suggesting that you start your own college. So there's an idea for you. I'm not sure if you thought about this. That might actually be a good idea, since you're innovating everywhere. LinkedIn users, sometimes things come in as LinkedIn user if they have their privacy settings on. So someone here is very excited to meet you. When we check on LinkedIn, you'll see who that was. Adam is saying hello. Andrew's here from London. You've got an international audience here. Rohit is already inspired. You've just said your first few words. He's already inspired here. Just wait till you hear more, Rohit. Janine is here from, she's saying Nova Southeastern University, Fort Lauderdale. Mike, how would you recommend breaking into the field of robotics? I think we'll get to your question in just a second, Janine. I just want to see. Okay, the rest are saying hello, hello, hello. So I think we can take Janine's question if you've got some ideas around this, Mike. So how would you recommend breaking into the field of robotics?
Yeah, sure. So usually, I would do more of a kid wise, but I guess I could say robotics wise, I would say, never give up and always keep trying, because just because something that you think could be impossible, it's not. If it doesn't break a law of science or math, it is. So, I would say just keep trying at it and just keep moving forward.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. We've just got other people saying hello. Oh, my brother is on here. See, he's got kids of his own. He's got a 17-year-old who's also a senior in high school. So hopefully he's watching, unless he's got school going on right now. I'll make sure he watches this after if he's not watching live. And somebody says here that, oops, you should consider University of Texas Austin. I don't know, that comment's coming through. All right, so people have suggestions for you. So what are your plans, right? Mike, I know maybe it's still a little too early. I don't know how long it'll take you to finish high school. I mean, will you be done tomorrow? Is that the case? At the rate you're going?
Yeah, so I'll be graduating officially in May. And so yes, I am applying to colleges now. I have a few on my short list, including MIT, Worcester Polytech, Carnegie Mellon, just to name a few. And I'm really open to all the options possible because, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So I may take a few years off to grow my startup, or I may apply to a Thiel fellowship to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping my options open. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Robert Grover's here. I chatted with him earlier. He's got the data bot, that cube that he's talking about. So he says Carnegie Mellon rocks robotics. So he's making some recommendations. Question here from Margarita. Are you homeschooling or are you going at your own rate? So maybe you share a little bit of your journey with your schooling. I know you gave an intro.
So yeah. So I'm actually going to a brick and mortar school. I am going to Concord Academy in North Carolina here. And I actually do go to school, obviously not right now, but yeah, I do. However, I do a lot online, but it is through the school.
Mm-hmm.
And rate wise, I guess you could say I'm doing the same coursework, but faster.
Okay, got it. So it's the same coursework but faster.
Yes.
Someone's saying, "Come to Israel, please." So they need robotics in Israel. That's funny. David has a question here. So what would you recommend to my 10-year-old son who's interested in robotics?
Okay, so that's a good question. I actually get asked that question quite frequently. So I'd say to get started in robotics, I'd say I know Kate got this little fella already 3,000, and so really he can teach. There he is.
There he is.
Using Artie and a bunch of other different companies such as Lego Mindstorms and Sphero Robotics. They make a whole line of educational robotics, and they said they have this ability where you can go from, say, the block coding and then move up along to, say, the more complicated Python and JavaScript languages,
Mm-hmm.
where you can learn the theories first of basic computer code and then build upon that with real calculations in the actual code.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, Mike, thank you. So I had this here because I was going to thank you for this later, but Thank you so much for sending this. My kids, so for those who don't know, my kids are 4 and 6 now. I have 2 girls, and Mike was nice enough to send them this, and they have been going crazy over it. His name is Artie, and it's interesting that our next door neighbor's dog is Artie, and the guy is Artie, and his son is Artie. So the mother there literally yells, Artie, like every day. So now they're like, is this the Artie? I'm like, no, this is a robot Artie. So now we have 4 Arties in the area. but they absolutely love it, especially the fact that he can draw a hangman for them and a tic-tac-toe, so then they can play right after. I think the learning moment started when they were able to customize the number of letters for the hangman. I mean, they're still young. They haven't been doing robotics for a few years like you probably have at that age, but they're still learning a lot out of that. So we're gonna go to the next question here from Winner. He's asking, so Mike, when did you break into robotics and what drove your interest?
Okay, so I really started, like I said before, that my affinity toward, like my iPad, that technology behind it.
Yeah.
And that really drove me to technology originally, and then the coding about, okay, what's behind, how does this work? And that's really the basis of how I've learned for my whole life. And I started robotics itself at 4 with Lego Mindstorm because I was a big Lego guy. I had all the cool Legos. And then I saw Mindstorm and I thought it was just every other Lego that I could build and I could program it. Well, little did I know there would be the same thing as what I was doing on my computer, that I could program it. And that's where I really started to get into, I guess you could say, the hardware side of programming. And then after a while, I kind of maxed out the Mindstorm. I got into now over here, that's my robot Infinite. And he taught me it was the same kind of thing. I've built up with him. But I knew with my Python coding that I learned on my computer that I could do infinite amount of things with it. And this is where I really started to combine hardware with software that I was doing before. And that's what really drove me toward robotics and AI, was that drive.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I remember reading your story. So can you just share with the rest of the folks that have joined us live of when you drew your name or wrote your name in chalk and you kind of surprised a few people?
Yeah, sure. So at 2 years old, I went to a local summer camp for a week or so, and they were just kind of playing around on the playground. I was writing my name on chalk on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And blown away I could even think about doing that. So then they said to my parents, do you realize he's gonna write his name on the sidewalk? They were like, yeah, we do that, yeah. Because they had never had a child before, obviously, so they didn't know. And then that's kind of where we started to figure out that I was different than everyone else. And then I got tested at age 3 for my IQ, and I entered into Mensa at age 4. But yeah, that's kind of where the educational thing started. But yeah, that was quite a funny story.
Yes, absolutely. So not sure if everyone's familiar with Mensa. You want to give a quick overview of Mensa and how that's kind of changed your educational trajectory?
Yes. So Mensa is a high IQ society where it's just we can sign up and it's a group of people that are in this high IQ. And a lot of times we do annual gatherings where we all get together somewhere around the country and we meet. And it's the top 2% percentile. And basically we can get together during these annual gatherings. We can speak to each other like I've done 2 times in a row. Obviously not this year because of COVID, but
yeah,
we speak. I speak. That's where actually I gave you that video for my 2018 speech there, where I really talk about my educational journey and share to them how I, as a young Mensa, have brought through these struggles that I've gotten in my educational journey. And that's really Mensa in a nutshell.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and for those interested, I'm happy to share a link that Mike shared with me. It's basically Mike's presentation on how, his educational journey has taken shape. And then at the end, he does a really cool demonstration of a robot that he's programmed to do the evolution of dance. It's like, it's out of this world. It's really amazing. I'm going to share that after the session. I'm going to make sure everyone gets to see that. It's really, it was really funny, and my kids watched it. They loved it too. Obviously they think the robot was just, you bought the robot. They don't understand that you've actually programmed it to do that. But it's still very impressive. Sorry, I keep disappearing. I'm not sure what's wrong with the connection. It could be the kids doing their online school right now.
Probably.
Be messing things up, but I'll just, before I ask my question, I'll just go to the comments quickly. So Winner is saying at 4, I can't even remember myself at that age. So that's funny. And then there's a question. Obviously, there's going to be a question about your parents, right? And I know your parents are with you. So for those listening, if you do have questions for the parents, they are right next to Mike, and they're very supportive. I spoke to them before the session as well. But the question is, what do your parents do for a living? And was there anything they did when you were really young that inspired you to get excited about technology?
Well, I'd say that's a quite interesting question, actually. My parents, neither of them are in this field. My dad is actually a construction worker, and he's a custom home builder. And I really didn't have an influence one way or another. I needed a field that would be limitless for what I could do. And I came upon that technology because I can learn anything I wanted to at the pace that I wanted and desired. And, but yeah, parents, they really helped me in whatever that I wanted and desired to do. So, and they wanted to really get my exposure into whatever that was. It could have been music, it could have been art, it could have been STEM. But I was drawn to the technology probably because it had no limits. And that's what really got me here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're looking at, do your parents want to say hello? Can they say hello?
Hello, how are
Mom,
you?
Dad, can you just say hi?
I'm Mom. I'm the one that gets him everywhere he needs to go.
That's really good. That's really good. And yeah, so I was very glad to have met all of you last week before the session as well, and had a great chat. So thank you for that. My question to you, Mike, is what about your friends, right? You just turned 12. What do they think about this? How do you play with them?
Well, see, friends to me is a broad category because I have friends of all ages, just like my age and older than me. But, the friends that are they think it's cool that I'm doing at such a young age. I'm graduating this year. I got all these accomplishments, but I have people who have been known to tell me that I have this ability where I can dial down or dial up my technical level depending on needed. So in this case, say for my friends my age, we don't really talk about the ROI or consumer acquisition costs of my company right now. We talk about more like the video games, what's going on in racing, Legos, that kind of thing. But the more technical of a person, and I can gauge a person by their technical abilities, I can basically dial up what my vocabulary as I can going.
Okay. So you basically have to constantly adjust to whoever it is you're interacting with, just like everybody has to adjust to, the people they're talking to. You just do that in a similar way with your friends.
Yes, that's right.
Awesome. By the way, Greg says you should go on speaking tours and companies would pay good money for you to appear at their company meetings. And you do speaking tours, right? Is that part of what you do?
Yes, I do. I do speak a lot. I speak at, like I said before, Mensa annual gathering. I speak at some regional gatherings before.
Mm-hmm.
I've done many different conferences, robotics different conventions. But yeah, I'm available to speak anywhere. I can come up with a speech and say it. And but yeah, I'm usually I'm available. I got a flexible schedule, of course, since COVID and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, whoever wants to hire Mike to speak, contact him directly. We will share his email at the end of the session. By the way, my nephew is here, Vadim. So he's the high school senior. So Vadim, be inspired. He's in computer science and he's programming Python and I think Java or JavaScript. I'm not sure which one. He's going to kill me because he tells me there's a clear difference. I don't program as much as you can tell. So, okay.
That's awesome. But yeah, friends-wise, again, I got a buddy, Adam Wilson, who might be on the call. And, he and I talk a lot over the past few weeks. And we, that's that technical level I can reach all the way up to. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So Jatin here is saying, what I started to explore at age 18, Mike learned at 4. So appreciate your curiosity. Hope to see you change the world in the future. What is your vision for the future, and how is robotics going to help shape it? I know that's a big question.
Yeah, that's a big question. So here's what I'm thinking. I guess you could say robotics automation wise. That's kind of the route I guess I can go. And I'm thinking that based on the idea of automation, well, me personally, I want to build technology that will change the world and help people live better lives, whether it be helping them in their work or helping them in their lives. That's what I want to do. And that's what I think robotics can physically do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping, and I know a lot of people are scared about, robots are going to take over our jobs and everything. Well, you never thought that the Amazon warehouses that have all of the automated robots have to be controlled by humans somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a whole thing of robots are going to take my jobs. I personally feel like they're going to help you do your job.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, they're going to augment the future for sure, but hopefully in a better way, right? I'm a very optimistic person.
Yeah,
So,
I think they're going to make the jobs a whole lot easier rather than replace them.
yes, I agree. So I do want to give you an opportunity right now to talk about your new venture. I know you've got something new, something exciting you wanted to share. So let's just do that now before I get into more questions, because I have like 1,000 questions I want to ask you.
No problem. So yeah, I got a big venture coming. It's going to be a amazing IoT integration software called Reflect Social. I am raising funds for it currently, and I have been in the past. And if you would like to learn a little bit more about it, you can go to my website, nextarinnovation.com, and follow me on LinkedIn as well. I have updates on there. But yeah, if you would also, you can sign up for beta testers on my LinkedIn page. But we hope to be, hopefully, the TikTok of IoT, and hope to launch in holiday of 2020. So stay tuned for that as well.
Wait, holiday 2020, that's in a few months.
Yes, that's right.
I thought you were going to say like 2021, 2022. You're just launching right away.
Yes, we are working on it. We are about to get launched.
Okay, awesome. Well, guys, stay tuned. Make sure you follow Mike Wimmer on LinkedIn. So I read, as I was doing some research on you, that last year you were the first miner to ever be awarded a position and hired by the United States Special Operations Command. So I know you probably can't talk too much about it, but what can you share about that experience?
So yes, I can share that I was contacted by USSOCOM in May of 2019 because they were looking for a subject matter expert in artificial intelligence and machine learning. I've seen some of my work, and they said, hey, let's bring this kid in, see what he can do. And we go to these big think tanks where they say, here's a problem, here's your limits, see what you can do.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty fun walking into the room of a bunch of military personnel and a bunch of alpha subject matter experts to see how the dynamics all work together. And it's very interesting. Also, the first day I come in there, it's like, is it you bring the kid to work day or something for us? But yeah, it's and then at the end of the week, every week, I always have followed a motto that my parents have instilled in me, which is called "Show What You Know." And "Show What You Know" is really the idea of showing what you can do in order to get people to respect you, whether it be a teacher, whether it be a personnel, whether it be whoever. And that's what I've learned over time. So that's what I've done at these military events as well, is I've shown what I know, and then they ended up respecting me at the end, and I can show my ideas and knowledge as an equal playing field to everyone else.
Yeah, that's extremely impressive, because I know it's easy to be discouraged when someone says something like, is this bring your kid to work day? Or I know someone's made a mistake thinking, oh, they thought you guys made a mistake when you were 7, but they thought you were 17.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
did you forget the one? They're like, your parents were like, no, this is him. Take a chance. And then you went in and showed what you know, or showed what you knew, and blew people out of the water again. So this is really impressive.
Thank
now,
you.
Maybe I want to know, maybe if your parents want to jump in here, if you want to just share the story, what can parents do to inspire their children, right? If people are watching with their children or have children, what can they do to inspire them to get, into maybe STEM or robotics or
So
data
yeah,
science?
I guess I can kind of answer this question a little bit here.
You want me to jump in?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I can answer first. I'm thinking that mainly we have.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Hi, everyone. You want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So really, I know what she'll say as well would be foster what your kid will want to do, kind of like they did, whether for me it was technology in this case, because it may be STEM, it may not be STEM, but parents need to foster whatever their kid is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if they give them all of the opportunities that they can, make sure they're exposed to it as much as they want to, make sure that that is what they want to do, and make sure they get exposed to it. And also make sure that's what your kid wants to do, not what the parents want you to do.
Yeah, those are very good points, because I think a lot of times the parents are like, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Those are your options, right? That's the older school of thinking. But now there's just so many new options. I guess it's a matter of exposing them to a lot of different things to see what they like, right, in the first place, and then fostering that. So did you want to add something?
I can add just a little bit. We never pushed Mike in any direction, as he said. We just he showed interest. We tried to expose him to whatever interests him. A lot of times people look at his age, and we would have to, go around a different way to get exposure to things, but that's okay. We're kind of used to that by now. Well, I will say, and he will tell anyone as well, the only area we ever pushed him in was being social.
Okay.
Be able to do these interviews with you and not say, oh, I don't want to do that. That was the one area that we tried to make sure we covered, was social and to still be a kid,
Yes.
Be able to play and have fun and those kinds of things. But I just say, give your child the exposure to whatever their interest is. Do not push them into anything, or do not push them farther than they want to go in a certain area.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of let them drive a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great advice. Thank you both for that.
I think we lost Kate again.
Okay, my internet has got to be the most frustrating thing ever right now. So sorry again, Mike. I was just saying that you're very, very social. So I would have never guessed that your parents had to push you into being more social, because
well, more like when I was like 2.
Oh,
that was really when that was really
okay, got it. All right.
Yeah,
And
in other words, what they would do was they would my mom would, the usual 2-year-old thing, hide behind mom's leg.
Yes. Okay.
And she would just put her hand behind. She said, "Come on, you're going to do this."
Yeah.
And I would do whatever it was, whether it was shake the captain's hand at age 2. I would do it. And that's kind of where it got me to where I am today, where I can't control not being social.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I understand now. Yeah, my kids, I mean, like I said, they're 4 and 6, and they still they don't want to really volunteer as much. The 6-year-old's okay, but the 4-year-old doesn't want to speak to her Zoom teacher on camera. She's just like, can I not do this? Or strangers and stuff like that. So now I get it. Susan says, what a great mom. I absolutely agree. Somebody else says, hello to mom. Amazing job.
Thank you.
Your parents are your energy. Yeah, a lot of great comments coming in here. I have a question here from Valerie. I think I can predict what you're going to say, but what types of things did you find most challenging? And I think it's a 3-letter word, but I'm gonna let you say.
Yeah, you know what it is. So basically, the 3-letter word is age. What do you want to open it? The 3-letter word is age, and that's really been my biggest obstacle. Whether it was getting opportunities, like Mom was saying, or whatever else, it was having people accept the fact that I may be 7 years old at the time, or now 12 years old, or 11 years old, whatever age I was or am. There's people are hard to accept the fact that just because I am young does not mean that my abilities are lower than everyone else's.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I figured you'd say age because I saw that video where you said it's a 3-letter word. I'm like, what is it going to be? It's like age. Tina Woods is here saying, this is inspiring. Follow your passions. This is important, whatever your age. I'm actually interviewing Tina next week. She wrote a book called Live Longer with AI that I'm going to be reading soon. It's coming in the mail in 2 days. So looking forward to that as well. So my kids are home now, right? My kids are home. A lot of other kids are home. The pandemic. What do you?
There goes the remote learning internet again. So yeah, I guess what Kate was trying to say there was, a lot of kids are remote learning. So how do we foster the idea of remote learning and help your kids? And I think the main reason or main help for remote learning would be to don't fear the technology. It may seem like this big thing that is gonna, be difficult to use and hard, but don't fear the technology. Just accept the fact that it is coming and it will be able to help you in your job, like I said before. But we need technology, of course, right now so that we can have any at all tech schooling. So with the use of technology, that can help that, obviously. But then also we need to accept the fact that we need to use it at this time. And, computers are dumb. They're the most stupidest machines that there is because guess what? They only follow what you do. They only do what you tell it to. You move the mouse one way, it's going to move the cursor that way. It does exactly what you tell it to. So yeah, I guess we'll wait till Kate comes back. I would look at the comments, but I'm not sure how to, so let me figure this thing out. Let's see. I hope Kit comes back.
Hey.
All right, I can't hear you now. Kate, I think you're muted.
Okay, how's this?
It's a little echoey. It'll work. Can't hear you now.
All right. It's like anything that could go wrong will, right? So.
All right. It's fine now. We're good.
Okay, cool. Mike, so sorry about that. So there's so many comments coming in. I'm so sorry you guys for missing this. My computer just completely died. So now I'm on my phone and I doubt we'll ever lose service. So
yeah, I kept going with that question you were asking.
And I heard you. That was the funny thing. I thought I was still in there and I hear you and you're like, oh, I think Kate's gonna come back. I'm like, okay, I thought I was still here. So sorry about that. And you're like the most professional guest I've ever had. You just keep
going. Thank you.
So I love that. So Luz has a comment here saying, thanks, Mike. I was afraid of programming for a long time. Now I work as a data scientist and I love it. So she's saying, thank you for sharing your experience.
Absolutely.
I love the next question from Michael. What do you do to chill out?
Yeah. Well, many people say, well, he's 12 and doing all these things. He's not a kid, is he? He doesn't do what normal kids do. And the answer is actually yes. You can see me at, when I'm in the summer, swimming in my pool or playing basketball or driving RC cars or flying my drone. It's a little bit of everything. And really one of my favorite, I guess, say combinations of both of my worlds would be what's called IMSA sports car racing, where you have Corvettes, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Aston Martins, McLarens, Porsches, all those exotic sports cars racing around the track on a road course. And what the interesting thing is, there's a whole lot of technology involved in it, like a big radar system that's on the back that was developed by Pratt Miller, which is another really awesome company. I really love those guys over there. But it's that the technology involved in it really helps me to combine what I love about sports cars and then the technology over here, combine them together. That's, I guess you can say, how I chill out.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So it's still in the tech space, but it involves racing cars.
Yeah. And then also, stuff that doesn't involve tech as well, playing with Hot Wheels cars or Legos and stuff, just different things.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We've got comments here saying super mom, people saying you're doing amazing, you're incredible. And I love Steven's comment here. He did a great job in your absence. We joked in the beginning of the session where I said sometimes StreamYard might kick me out and you'll just run the show. It actually happened. Look at that. It happens like every 100 episodes. So you got really lucky here. There's a question here from Akiko asking, is there any book that inspired you?
Interesting question. So book-wise, I was really kind of sci-fi wise, I guess you could say. There was a lot of series that kind of inspired me of how would that work? How would that work in real life? How could I translate that from what I know in my own knowledge to what is in the sci-fi, whether it be a movie or a book or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that also continued the whole how and why of what's going on and how would that work kind of thing that I've always been drawn to. So, but specifically books, I mean, any kind of robotics books or anything I had and I was reading and drawn to. Textbooks, encyclopedias, whatever I could get my hands on.
Encyclopedia sounds like a great kid's book, Mike. I think you're going to find the next question a lot easier to answer and a lot more fun. What is your favorite Lego set?
Oh, man. That's pretty hard. So I got so many, but it's probably the brand new Lego Technic. It's the green Lamborghini Sian. That's also another combination of two things that I really like is sports cars and Legos.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. By the way, there's a comment here from Ravid saying that the robot is playing with my internet. Can Artie mess up my Wi-Fi? Is that what's happening? Next to me.
What are you doing over there? He's mischievous sometimes. Yeah. So actually, I guess you could kind of connect that picture you sent me that you got from LinkedIn that one time to kind of what I saw that we were talking about. I don't know if you could do that on your phone though.
Oh, I'm on my laptop too, so I can do it.
Okay.
Do this. Okay. Let me pull up a picture of Mike. I really wanted to show that. So, but I know. When I saw this picture on LinkedIn, I was like, "Aw, this is just so cute." Hold on, everyone.
Yeah, my mom really loves this picture. That's for sure.
How old were you in the picture as I'm pulling it up?
7 years old.
7 years old. Okay. So application photo. All right. Let me know when you can see that.
Not yet. Hey, here it is. All right, cool.
All right.
So yeah, I can just describe this picture a little bit here. So this is little me, 7 years old. I was traveling up to MIT. I'm still strapped in my car seat, of course. I got my pajamas on with my colorful blanket and my 2 stuffed animals. But what I'm reading there is a college textbook on object-oriented programming in Python. So this kind of sums up the idea of, though my calendar age may not match my intellectual age, I love to be at this higher level of learning. I love to go at this high level of adult learning. But yeah, I still like to be a kid. And that really is a big thing that my mom and dad really pushed, was have this higher level, but still be a kid. And I really think that picture there sums it up in one picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for letting me share it. I really love this picture, and I think it definitely tells that story of you're a kid, you're strapped into your car seat, yet you have this textbook and you're reading it. I think that's just amazing. So thanks for letting me do that.
Yeah. I don't think we can hear you anymore, Kate.
Oh, I had a call coming in because obviously
Okay.
has to go wrong that could. So I declined the call. It's probably spam anyways, but there's someone here who wants to quote Peter Dinklage speech. The world might say you're not allowed to or you're not ready. Show it, be it. So I think you're living that quote.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Mark Eric has a question. Do you play chess? That's an interesting question.
Yes, I do play chess. It's quite fun. I think try to come up with strategies, play with my dad a little bit. Because really, I think that the idea of my AI and my machine learning and figuring out the hard problems is kind of mixes in with that. It's in the same way.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you for that. I tried to teach my kids chess. They like hopping with a horse. So. Okay, this is a great question here. What changes are you suggesting in the current educational sector? So going through what you went through, what suggestions would you have?
Well, here's what I would say, I guess you could say. Don't look at someone's age as a determining factor for their abilities, educational, technical, what have you. So I think that if we continue to do this, then we're going to lose some of the best and brightest in this country. And we're going to have a big possibility there may be a kid that can cure cancer, but he's stuck in this tunnel of, I can't get out of this. I can't do anything other than what school is telling me to do, which is not the pace I need. And that's really what I think we should change is don't look at someone's age as a determining factor in anything else. Like for me, for example, it's not specifically school, but like robotics teams, they, like the first Lego, not first Lego league, but those kind of, they wouldn't let me in because of my age. And, I don't think they should let me in, or I don't think I would go in because of that. So, and of course I won't go in now because I'm too old, but yeah, just don't look at someone's age as a determining factor in what their abilities or technical abilities are.
Yeah, I find it a little frustrating as well when people are just looking at age as a factor. And my daughter, for example, she's 4 and she's meant to start pre-K, right, if there was no COVID. But she's at the level of my first grader for the most part in terms of her math and her reading and everything else. So I'm like, why does she need another 2 years of tracing letters when she can write sentences? And it's like, but it's, she's not at the level where, I'm going to push her into like, not push, but introduce her to a Mensa program or something like that. But it's still kind of like, can they test kids to see what level they're at and put them in the right program versus just, oh, you're born in this year on this date. Okay, you're there. You're born on this year. You're in this class. And it doesn't make sense to me either. So hopefully that's going to change, I hope.
Yeah. And I think also there's a few things kind of like what I was saying before. The student has to be willing to also show what they know in order to prove themselves to be at that higher level, not their calendar age of 2008 in my case. But, and just and you got to make sure that they show what you know and keep up with the work as well.
2008. Oh, I was almost graduating college. I graduated in 2009. So that's so cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about what year you're born in. Now it just like it hit me. So thanks. What is your favorite programming language? I can't wait to hear this one.
So yeah, really, I guess I can kind of do a little bit of flashback here. Really, the one that started off for me was Python. That's where I got into, and that's kind of what I'm still drawn to. Of course, I know about a bunch now, about a dozen now, but Python is still my favorite because it's not limited to like say JavaScript or HTML, where I can only do a website, or I can only do this, but I can do anything that I want to with it, and that's really what I think is pretty powerful with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've learned a bit of Python as well, and I think it's one of the most recommended for the data science community, which is most of the audience here, I'd assume. But there's always a debate of R versus Python. So Interesting. So you choose Python. Okay, so we spoke about what you enjoy doing outside of robotics. Do you do anything else that's not technology related or cars related that you'd want to share?
Really kind of just kind of swimming and basketball. Those are kind of my other kind of sports kind of things. But yeah, I mean, I really love everything that I do, whether it be cars and technology.
Mhm.
But there's just one saying that I really like is if you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day. And that's one thing that I've always drawn to because I love what I do. I mean, I love messing around with robots and NVIDIA Jetsons and all that kind of stuff. That's what I love to do. And that to me, there's always classification of work and play.
Yeah.
For me, they're both together.
Put them together. I agree with you completely. I love what I do now. I don't feel like I'm working at all. So I completely agree. And just going to the comments, so someone says, I love all the things you're saying about age and education. Wise words. I absolutely agree. And Roman says age is a bad predictor in terms of knowledge or experience. Yeah, you'll see all these job applications if you ever apply to a job, right, Mike? I don't know. I don't see you applying for jobs. I feel like people will either, try to hire you tomorrow or just pay you to speak at their events and stuff like that. Or you're, going to be with your next Air Innovations building things on your own. But one thing you'll notice is those job applications always say, you must have 15 years of experience using this software. And a lot of times that software has just come out 8 years ago. So it's funny when you see those job posts.
Well, another thing that I'm thinking of is, and I guess we can touch on the school thing as well. The cutting edge is always at the forefront, and the textbook has to be made at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep up with it at the cutting edge as far as you can. So that's raised me the question of, do I go to school or not? And that's another thing that I'm pondering now.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you actually end up doing. It's very interesting to just kind of follow you and see what you end up doing. Another question I had for you is, you mentioned your parents instilled in you something called show what you know.
Yes.
How do you recommend people, let's say they're getting into programming or robotics, and how can they actually show what they know? What are some of your advice?
So I guess some of the specifics to show what you know is the technical questions, if you get asked, hey, what's this? Make sure you answer it. Make sure, hey, I don't know that yet. Because just because you have high intellectual ability doesn't mean that you know everything. Obviously, I don't know everything. But it's that high intellectual ability to say, hey, I don't know that yet. And then also, being willing to show what you know. That's another thing. Being willing to show, hey, I can do this technical ability without blatantly obviously saying it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you. So a question for you. So there are self-driving cars, right? And there are Corvettes. So which one would you choose, a self-driving car or a Corvette?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that was you got that from my mashup of my autonomous Corvette RC car that I made.
Yes.
Well, I love all the technology and everything in a self-driving car, the safety and technology that goes around it. But then, I have a video game simulator and everything. So I love to drive. I love to shift gears. I love to pick my lines. So, I would have them both in my garage at the same time.
That is a great answer. Look at that. It's not this or that. It's both. Wait, have you actually driven a car in real life?
No, I mean I have a Razor that I drive around sometimes, but
Okay.
I have a video game simulator I can drive a car.
Okay, cool.
That's
Yeah.
about as close I can get.
So my nephew's 17. He's learning how to drive. So I guess you'll handle that later, the actual driving part. But it's so fun. You say you love cars, you love driving. That's why I wanted to ask if you've actually, driven a real car.
Right.
Yeah.
But just because I can't drive on the road doesn't mean I can't drive on a track.
Exactly. Very true. I think I drove for the first time when I was 13, but it was probably with my brother there, and It's probably not legal, and I probably should stop talking about it. It was fun in the moment. I used to love it. So, Mike, I wanted to know, is there somebody you're inspired by or motivated by, or who's motivated you over the past few years?
So yeah, so I guess first I would say my parents to begin with. You know, they've instilled in me the idea of show what you know, the idea of like that social aspect. They're really my biggest role model. And then, I guess two technical people I would say is first Adam Wilson. He's helped me motivate me through the business side of things as well as the technical side. He's helped me, every week we speak and we say, okay, hey, let's do this now. And he's helping me with the company now called Reflect Social. And then also we have, he developed Sphere Robotics, by the way. He's the guy who made Rover back here, this little fella. He's also an educational toy as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that I put the camera on there, but yeah, another thing is, another really role model would be Elon Musk. He's a big, and really the reason that I'm drawn to him more than others is he's got that out of the box thinking, number one, kind of like I do, something that is not breaking a law of physics or math can be done. Nothing is impossible unless it does that. So, who would have thought that we could land a rocket on a barge floating in the ocean and then use it back again? Or have a semi-autonomous car? This out of the box thinking, okay, well, if it can't be done this way, let's figure out another way because it can. That's the same way I think.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. It's always impossible until somebody does it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I follow Elon Musk and all the work he's doing as well. And you kind of remind me of him. So, I'm sure you probably get that a lot, like
yeah, definitely
Bill Gates type of thing going for you. So, all right. So I think we've gone over the time limit that I told you I'd keep you on for. Honestly, I could probably talk.
It's fine. Hey, I can go for another hour.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I feel like I could keep talking to you, and I feel like the audience is loving it. They're saying this is inspiring and insightful. And there is a question here if you want to answer from Roman. Is, have you seen the advances competitive GANs have brought to cars driving path optimization? See, I know nothing about this.
Well, yes, I have. I've actually done a bunch of different neural networks. That's one of the things I like, different architectures and figuring out, okay, maybe we need to tweak this and figure out this works. But yes, I have seen that. And I think that it will, the idea of, maybe the normal convolutional, we need to change to this way. And, there's that same way of, it's not impossible. We just need to figure out a way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Thank you for that. So one of the last questions I had for you here is that what can we expect to see from you in the future? Like, what are your plans? Oh, actually, somebody literally just asked that same question. What are your plans? Look at that.
So yeah, I think really huge things from where I am now, and really my main focus is Reflect Social, that my IoT integration company that I hope to launch in, like I said, holiday 2020. That's my main drive and focus. On also doing a bunch of military contracts as well currently too. So, but yeah, that's my really true future in the near future plans is Reflect Social.
Graduate high school, right? That's
yes. I only graduated high school in May. That's right. Yeah.
You're like, I got military contract. Oh yeah, graduate high school. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's really awesome. So, Mike, where can people go? I know you mentioned a few sites before, but just so people remember, where can they go to follow you and stay in touch with everything you're doing?
So, my website, nextairinnovations.com. I know that's on the ticker along. Also, follow me on LinkedIn. You can actually get my beta tester sign up for Reflect Social on there as well.
Okay.
And then also, my private email is miketwimmer@gmail.com for those who want to directly contact me.
Okay, awesome. Well, Mike, see, and now I've got traffic. Like, what is happening to our session? Somebody was asking a question earlier. I can't pull it up. It was too far back, but it was around internet on the moon or something. I'm like, I'm having trouble getting internet in New York. Like, I want to see the internet on the moon, but first give me some internet. So, I mean, we're getting some really good comments. People are loving the session. So I want to thank you so much for your time today. I'm
Absolutely.
definitely you highly encourage everyone watching this session, either now or the recorded version of the session. Definitely keep your eyes on Mike Wimmer. He's going to go on and do great things. He's already done amazing things. So thank you again for being on the show.
Absolutely. I really loved it. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. All right. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.